Okay. Hi guys, good evening. And it's the last episode of Real Women, Real Stories of PCOS. And it's the last of the month of September. And just gonna hang in there a bit. Hey Michelle, I see you there. Thanks everybody. It's the absolute last episode this tonight. Real Women, Real Story of Women Living with PCOS. And for September, PCOS Awareness Month. So Michelle, I'm just gonna give it 2-3 minutes, and then before I add you, and I see your request, and thank you Kristen for joining us, Beulah, Kits. So we'll just wait for a few more people that's getting the notifications. We've got a few people joining, and TTC Journey, thank you for joining us. Hi guys, thank you. Nice to have everyone here. Okay, so Michelle, there we go. Michelle, right now. Just give it a couple of minutes. Thanks, guys, for joining. Thank you. Hey, you got it right. I was worried. You got it right. Thank you so much for joining. Okay. So, so tonight we're speaking to Michelle. And Michelle, is it recently that you found out that you've got PCOS?
Yes, actually in March of this year.
March.
I found out.
So I was just saying that it's our last episode of PCOS. And I just want to confirm that, just let everyone know that the reason why we do this, it's not because we just want to spend our night just chatting about it. It's to create awareness, because there might just be, like you said in your email to me, it's like there might just be one person that you're reaching that didn't know that they've got PCOS, that could use this help, that doesn't have access to go to a doctor or whatever the case may be. So just that one person that joined and like, oh wow, I've got the same symptoms. Maybe I've got PCOS.
Yeah.
And that is how we do it. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out tonight. I know you're an attorney. So you're an attorney, and I'm sure you're very busy and stuff, and you're young, so I'm sure you've got lots on your plate and stuff. Um, so thank you for joining us and taking the time out to help inspire other women when it comes to, walking the road of PCOS and things like that. And we're really anxious to hear what it is that you've gone through, how you found out about it, and what you've been doing to help, the symptoms of PCOS. Please tell us more about yourself.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm actually so excited because when I first found you guys, this is so helpful because I wish there was this platform 10 years ago when I started noticing things, but I didn't know what I was noticing or what was going on. And so, a little bit of a backstory. I started noticing some weird things happening when I was about 17 or 18. I mean, I wasn't getting my period like everybody else. And I still remember in high school asking my biology teacher, and I said to her, I'm like, is it normal for me to like get a period this month and then nothing for 2 or 3 months and then get it again and is this normal? And she says to me, she's like, it's a very valid question because a lot of people, especially in your teenage years, your body's still trying to sort itself out and figure out what it's doing with itself. So by the age of 18 to 21, it should be in its proper cycle. Your body should figure itself out. And well, mine never did. And
Yeah.
I was about 22 or 23 years old when I first went on the pill. Now, I went on the pill for my skin because my skin was like really bad. It wasn't acne per se. It was just like a whole lot of like random pimples everywhere, but not like concentrated clusters of pimples or anything. And I remember being so self-conscious because I was in varsity and, I didn't want to walk around with this face full of pimples. So I started the pill. And it didn't ease the situation, or I thought it did. I thought, okay, now I'm getting these regular cycles and everything is normal. And but that wasn't the case, which I only found out this year, that it's not an actual period. That's not what the pill does. It's not what it's for. And I mean, it didn't really clear up my skin that much, but I had a whole lot of other issues going on, like depression, anxiety, all of those things that came along with actually taking the pill. And during the course of that whole thing, from about the age of 22, I'm going to be 28 on Friday. During those years, I started picking up weights and picking up weights and picking up weights. And you only know one day when you wake up and nothing fits you. You don't notice the weight gain. Just one day you wake up and you're like twice the size you were when you first started. And that's exactly what had happened to me. I started in at 55 kilograms and then I went all the way up to 100. I've lost some weight now, but I mean, I struggled and I struggled. And growing up, sort of, I think it's also the environment and the community you grow up in. A lot of these issues aren't really talked about. Nobody goes around talking about their period or their cycles or what's going on. I mean, that wasn't a discussion that I ever had. Also because for the most part, nobody really knew about it. Nobody knew that there was this thing, this PCOS thing going around. It wasn't a thing that anybody had spoken about. And it's only in these very recent years and since March when I was diagnosed by my gynae that the conversation started. So much so that I found out two of my younger cousins have been also diagnosed with PCOS, and these are my first cousins. And also learning that it's a hereditary thing. Now, I know my mother didn't have problems, but all my aunts, but now I see myself and my cousins with these issues, exact same issues that we're all dealing with.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So what have you done, to almost control, if I would say control your symptoms with PCOS?
So every day I learn something new and I learn something more. So I have been taking PCOSITOL. So that was the first thing that I had found out. I was actually watching a YouTuber who was on her TTC journey, and one of the things that she was speaking about was called Ovasitol. And so I'm Googling what is Ovasitol and what is it for? And that was like an American brand thing, and we didn't have it here. But then I found PCOSITOL. And I was on the phone trying to find Discim, trying to phone to see who has this thing because I need it now. So I still remember I went and I bought like two of the boxes. Then I opened these boxes up expecting it to be a pill. It ended up being a sachet, and that was a new thing for me. And so I've been taking my PCOSITOL. So I swap it out. I take PCOSITOL and I take Ovivance. So one day I'll do the PCOSITOL, one day I'll do the Ovivance. And I stopped drinking milk. That's one thing I can say. It's helped me a lot, and especially with my skin, it's helped me a lot. I've cut out milk, and I've also introduced spearmint tea. So I've been
Heard about spearmint tea,
So it's actually very hard to find. It's extremely difficult because you find peppermint, normal mint, but it's very difficult to find spearmint. And I actually found spearmint this weekend in Cape Town. So I'll send you the details if you want to link it for anybody who may be interested in spearmint tea, because it actually lowers the androgen levels that most of us people suffer with, high testosterone levels.
Yes. And that could actually help for the acne itself. Am I right? Yeah, so that is definitely one of my symptoms is the acne. That is like I think my biggest one. And like just before we went on, I'm like, another one really, just before I need to go live. But I mean, and you'd think that at a certain age you'd like outgrow it.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't.
it's almost like it's here for life.
Yeah, you never outgrow. I'm gonna be 28 on Friday, and I still have acne as if I'm like still in high school, and it's embarrassing when you have to be in a working environment with acne.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely. Like, why do you have acne at this age? Yeah.
exactly. No, but there's been a lot of things, and also like don't overdo it. That's one thing I've learned through this whole thing, because there's so much of information available to us through YouTube and through research, and sometimes we tend to overdo it. We bombard ourselves with too many things. Sometimes we know too much for our own good, and we end up sabotaging ourselves because as soon as, and I'm guilty of it, as soon as this one thing doesn't work, I'm on to the next thing and on to the next
Yeah.
thing, not giving myself time to deal with it,
There we go.
and to figure it out. But the biggest thing that I've actually noticed, and I know that it's not like a guaranteed science, or there's not too much research done about cutting out dairy or gluten. Gluten is a bit of a difficult one for me, but the dairy was quite easy. And I noticed that when I started consuming dairy again, my face, like now I've got breakouts galore. Whereas
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, my face was clear, absolutely
Okay.
clear. And I ran out of my almond milk, so I was drinking normal milk, and my face
Yeah.
just erupted with
Wow.
acne. Because
Yeah.
also the milk adds to the inflammation, which we all suffer with, is inflammation
Yeah.
being a big deal for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, do you, if I may ask, do you suffer with weight issues? Do you suffer with anxiety? How's
So
that been for you?
my biggest thing has been the weight issue.
Yeah.
I started off at 55 kgs, and now I've like I had almost doubled that at one stage. I've got it under
Wow.
control now, I mean, for the most part, but at one stage I had doubled that. And along with that, so after I stopped the pill, a lot of the anxiety and the depression had gone away. Those sort of diminished. Like the
Yeah.
depression still comes along every now and again, and
Yeah.
it's over PCOS related things. So
Yeah.
the fact that I'll just like randomly in the middle of the day, no rhyme or reason, think I'll never be able to have children. And
Yeah.
it's this de depression that you get into, or why doesn't my body work like how everybody else's works,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
why can't I go into like go shopping and find something that fits me?
That
It's
fits you.
those
Yeah.
sort of things, not, oh, I hate my life, or why is everything, it's not any
Yes.
of that.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
all PCOS related depression issues that I'm
Yes. Yes.
facing.
Yes.
But it's not
Wow.
so bad now. I do take quite a few supplements.
Yeah.
I know that the Picositol and the Ovivarms helped me a lot. I started feeling really good after I started taking that. Like the fatigue sort of diminished, the restlessness. I would get like these afternoon slumps where after 12 o'clock, just don't actually talk to me because I don't know what you're saying anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll peak at 6 o'clock. All these sort of
Yeah.
weird things, and that sort of stabilized it. And I also take ashwagandha root, which
Okay.
helps a lot, especially with like your mental well-being. It stabilizes your moods
Yes.
quite a bit. So I take that, and also zinc as well. So those have helped me. So I'm nowhere near what I was when I was on the pill. I'm a
Yeah.
thousand times better, like mentally better. I still get my down days, but not
Yeah.
anywhere near as how bad it used to be. It was like borderline psychotic at one point, but it's
Wow.
so much better now. It's just you have to
Um,
find what works for you.
what I've learned over this month talking to everybody, I'm hearing exactly the same thing, which I never for once did I pick up. Dealing with it for I'm obviously a lot older than you, and through my journey, not at any point or at no point did I ever think that my anxiety and my depression, not depression, but this, like as you're saying, depression related to PCOS. The fact that I can't find, why am I picking up this weight? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I also started, I always say I was like a size 28. I was super skinny. If you didn't know, I'm extremely tall. I'm 1.72. So I'm a tall girl and I'm a big girl as well. So at no point did I think this is related to PCOS, because how I was told I've got PCOS is just like, you've got PCOS, you've got something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, and you're going to struggle to have children. So when you're ready to have children, you have to come and see a doctor. And I was
Yeah,
just like, oh, okay, fine. You
yeah,
go on your way, but there was no education around it. So no one came to me and said to me, this is what you need to do now. This is the lifestyle changes. Um, you never knew. So I just went throughout all these years, not knowing all these things. And that's why speaking to everybody and us doing this is so important to have this conversation. And doesn't it make you feel that, okay, I'm not alone in this. It's
yes,
not all in my head. There's
def
other women that's actually going through exactly the same thing. Um, and there is a way out in the end. There is things that we can do. So thank you for bringing that to us.
no, definitely, because I think a lot of the time we feel like, why is this happening to me? Why is it only me? Why am I the one? Lord, why me? And
Yes, yes,
that
yes,
was me for a very long time. I remember sitting at the gynae and thinking to myself, really? Another thing to add to the list of issues that I need to deal with just on a normal basis. Now you're telling me
yes,
that it's going to take me 10 years to try and have one child. And that's an
yeah,
if. That is even if, it's possible.
yeah, yeah,
And as much as you're saying, I mean, I went to the gynae in March and it was very much, okay, you've got some ovaries, you've got some cysts on your ovaries. It's not too bad. Lose weight, and
that's
just
what
repeat
they
yourself.
say.
Okay, I understand that I need to lose weight. I mean, it's not a secret, but how?
Yeah,
Because no matter how well I eat, no matter how I watch my calories like a hawk, how many days I'm in at the gym, what would take a normal person a month to lose like 5 kgs with everything that I'm doing, I'll maybe lose 2 kgs in that
yeah,
same month. And you're not helping me, you're not telling me what to do. You're just like, as you said, go away when you want to have a child, come back, and then we'll talk about it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
my thing is, what happens to those who aren't fortunate enough to have a medical aid?
That is exactly what my thought was. I was just about to say that to you. Yeah,
Yeah, what about those that can't afford it? And I know my medical aid is rubbish, so I had to pay for that. But I mean, I had the means to pay for it. What about
yeah,
those that truly cannot afford to do that? Where do they turn to? How do they get help?
yeah,
What's the way to help those women that have these issues,
yeah.
or even young girls? Because I know
Yes,
I grew up in a family where you don't go to a gynae unless you're married and you're trying to have a child or you are
yes,
pregnant. That's how I grew
yes,
up, and that's just the long and short of it. You don't
yeah,
go to the gynae without a reason to go to the gynae.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
and there's a lot of people in a lot of communities that are like that, whether we like it or not. And I mean, we are so advanced in other areas of our lives, but still reproductive problems and problems with your female body is not even addressed because you need to stay in your place until it's your time to be at a
mm,
gynae, which a
yeah,
lot of people deal with. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that isn't spoken about.
yeah, yeah. And I also think that I, I'm speaking under correction, but I just feel that gynaes even need to be more, when a woman comes to you with a problem, there's a lot, like, just, I'm going to take my gynae, for instance, I'll never mention the names, but what my gynae did was, he said to me, oh, you've got cysts on your ovaries, so that is why you're not ovulating and stuff like that. No, he didn't actually say, oh, I'm not ovulating. He's like, okay, we're going to try Clomid. And he gave me Clomid month in, month out, until I started doing my own research, and I said, what about metformin? I need metformin because I've got PCOS. Let's use the metformin. Um, and I went back to him and I said, it's giving me other issues because I think I was kept on wanting to faint or something with metformin. So it obviously wasn't working for me.
Yeah,
But again, you're saying, I mean, I had medical aid. I've got a good medical aid. You've got a medical aid as well. So we are fortunate enough to do that back and forth, going to the doctors.
yeah,
But there are women out there that actually don't know. There was Tendai last week that did a talk, and she was saying, and I asked her, how many times have you stood in a queue at a shop or you at a mall or someone and you see someone walking past you and they've got all the symptoms of PCOS, and you think in your mind, I wonder if that person knows they've got PCOS. And the person's probably struggling to conceive. They're probably not having regular periods. They've got all these issues going on, the moustache, and especially those things are quite easy to see.
Yes,
And you think to yourself, I wonder if they know. Again, it boils down to the fact that we we have to do these talks and we have to create awareness and not be scared to talk about it.
yes.
Yeah, so
No,
true.
definitely. It's the more knowledge is power, so the more we speak about things, and just the more we educate people, and for people to know it's okay. Like, it's
Yeah,
okay. These things are okay. It's not a death sentence. It's not, you know, it will just be a little bit more difficult for us, but it's not the end of it. It's not, there's no hope. I mean, there's always hope. You just need to figure out what works for you. Because I also was put on metformin, or glucophage, and
yeah,
then in my research, I found out that the reason why so many people have so many side effects, because my cousin actually was on glucophage and had such bad side effects, and she stopped taking it. And the reason why that this happens is because a lot of the gynaes also don't tell you, if you're taking glucophage or metformin, you need to take a vitamin B12 supplement along
there
with
we
that.
go. I was about to mention that, yes.
You have to do that because glucophage or metformin depletes your body of B12, which is so vital for your nerves, the functioning of your
Yeah,
nerves.
yeah,
And so when I take the glucophage, I take my B12 supplement as well, and I never had any side effects with it. But along with that, it hasn't helped me. It hasn't helped me a single bit. Like, it's
yeah.
done nothing for me. So
Oh,
it's as I said, we are fortunate enough to have the means to have these medications. What happens to somebody who doesn't have the means and then they go out and buy glucophage, and they've spent their money for the month on glucophage and it doesn't help them? Now they need to go back and spend more money to try and find out something, for something
yeah,
that works for them. And I mean, it's not cheap. We
it's
we
not
know
cheap.
it's not a cheap lifestyle to sustain or to try and sustain.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
by any means.
yeah. I've got one last question for you.
Okay.
I've asked everyone this question. I don't know if you know what I'm going to ask, but what is your go-to meal when it comes to trying to eat healthy and on a budget? What would be your go-to meal?
So I'm still very much in university budget mode. So I'm very stingy sometimes with my money because you have to make it last. So
Yeah,
one thing I can highly, highly recommend is um, steel cut oats. Willie's steel cut oats. It's about 40 Rand for a big packet of oats. And why I'm
okay,
emphasizing steel cut is because it's the least processed oats out of all of them. And oats, so the fiber in the oats actually binds to excess estrogen that may be floating around in your body so that you can
yeah,
get rid of that. So I always do in the mornings 45 grams of oats with some almond milk, and not, I know people boil their oats in straight milk. I do
yeah,
about, let's just say for argument's sake, 50 ml of almond milk and 100 ml of water, and
yeah,
I put in some cinnamon powder. I boil my oats. So steel cut oats take about 25 minutes to make, but you can
yeah,
put them in the fridge and then add a little bit of milk the next day, and it's perfectly fine. And I do a lot
okay,
of that for breakfast. I put in a scoop of protein powder because with us, we always have to keep our protein intake
yeah,
up. So, and I have my protein powder with that, and just chicken breasts. You can make it into a Thai curry, really cheap, really quick as well. Because when you come home from work, you've got no time to be doing five different things just to make sure your diet's good. So
yes,
I
yes,
just
yes,
a lot of chicken breast, a lot of vegetable that I steam on the weekend, and then I just take that, I put it in the blender,
yeah,
make a smoothie, a lot of those type of things, and also quick things, because I find that when you're hungry, you will eat anything, and the problem is
yes,
not to eat anything. It's to take the time and just do it, and you'll be more inclined to do that when the meal is quick to prepare. So
yeah,
that's what I like to do. So I just have boiled eggs and
Yeah, that's my go-to meal.
Yeah, that's my lunch,
So
boiled eggs.
quick.
Two boiled eggs. And the thing is now I'm so like conscious about cholesterol, so I actually don't even eat the yellow of the boiled egg. I just eat the whites. I have a protein shake, two boiled eggs. I'll have my yogurt, which was the only dairy thing that I'll still have is some yogurt.
Yeah,
And then I'll have like a fruit, so an apple or strawberries. I stay away from bananas. Bananas is bad for us. So I'll stay away from the bananas. Just
never knew.
just my biggest thing is I do a lot of intermittent fasting as well because of the
Okay, yeah,
insulin levels. That's helped.
yeah,
That has been the biggest thing because I actually, when I went for my blood test, I don't have any insulin issues yet. But I mean,
yeah,
I'm borderline. I'm on that border, and
yeah.
so the intermittent fasting helps. And I don't snack. Well, I try not to snack because I don't want to
Mm,
keep raising those insulin levels for nothing. So I'll eat
yeah.
lunch and then dinner and try and keep it like that, or eat all my food in one go, so that I'm not like spiking those insulin levels for nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Your interview with us has been so informative. You taught us something. I'm always learning something every week. And just want to say thank you for taking the time out to have this conversation with us and share your journey with us. And keep on creating awareness, keep on, inspiring somebody out there, and especially someone who's dealing with PCOS and things like that. And especially, and if someone is dealing with infertility.
Yeah.
But thank you so very much,
Thank
Michelle,
you
for
so much for
joining.
having me. It's been so fun and it's such an amazing initiative. So I actually
Thank
hope
you.
that you could carry this on. Maybe do it like a monthly thing because it's absolutely brilliant to hear from everybody else. It's been amazing.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I'll definitely look into it. We do our talks. We do our talks every Wednesday evening on Instagram. So some weeks we have the doctors talking, the fertility specialists. It's a great time. For those listening, it's a great time for if you have any questions that you really want to ask a fertility specialist. Remember, when you're speaking to get an appointment with a fertility specialist, it's at least 2,000 rand. I mean, 2,000 rand. Yeah, you can come onto the platform Wednesday evenings, 8 o'clock. And if there's a question that you really want to ask the specialist, you can just put in the comments or DM me like just before then, and I will ask the specialist. So it's free advice, guys. You don't get it anywhere else. And then there's on Friday as well. We do it on Facebook as well. The talks on Facebook. So thank you very much again, and thank you PCOSITOL for making this possible for us that we could do these talks with women around South Africa. Thank you very much, Michelle, and you have a great
Thank you
evening.
so much. You too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Here we go. Thanks, guys. And again, thanks for everyone who joined this evening and took the time out to listen to our stories and it's been with us through this month. And again, thank you for PCOSITOL and Delfran Pharmaceuticals for making this possible. Have a great evening, everyone. Thanks. Bye.